Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. All right, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back. I am so excited because I am joined by Danielle Anatra. Danielle, welcome back to the show.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm excited because we're going to be talking today about intuitive gifts and how to open these gifts. And also, you told me that we're going to be playing a game or a couple of games today. So today's show is going to be very, very interesting, just like the other ones.
I am very excited. You're going to be my guinea pig today.
Okay, no problem. So tell the audience who maybe the first time hearing your show, what you're about, what your practice is like, and anything you want the audience to know before we get started.
Okay, sure. So I'm a medium, so I connect doing mediumship readings. I do just intuitive psychic readings, and I also mentor in spiritual development, mindset development, psychic and mediumship development, things like that. So
Mm-hmm. And you work with do you work with younger people?
Um, yes, it's a fine line though because I don't specialize in kids.
Uh,
And my own belief, I every child is so gifted because we come into this world just wide open, our energy, and we can feel and see everything. My kids have said crazy stuff to me. It's important not to dismiss anything that kids say, but don't encourage too much either because you want them to know, like they live here on earth and you want them to know the difference between real and like the spirit world. Not that the spirit world's not real, but like just that other
Imagination?
end too, and to like decipher between the two.
Mm,
Because if we don't know what we're doing, sometimes our mindset can get involved or our imagination can get involved and it could exaggerate what we're actually seeing and it could scare them or whatever it is. So I don't generally work with young children,
mhm.
maybe like mid-teens. I will with like, parents' permission and,
Right.
and things like that. And that's just personally how I operate. But I do know some wonderful people who do work, with children and they have a better understanding of how to do that.
I
Hmm.
see. All right. Well, thanks for clearing that up. And
Hmm.
so how do people get a hold of you before we get started here?
Sure. The best way is probably my website, daniellenatra.com. And you could also email me, Danielle at daniellenatra.com. And my phone number is 516-384-8632.
Okay.
So they can text or call that number as well.
All right, cool. So now let's just start with what is an intuitive gift in case people don't know what that is.
Okay. So like you ever like we've talked about this on the show before where like you could feel like someone's calling you or gonna call you and then they call you, you think about them. Like I was just thinking about someone like came to me the other day who I haven't thought about in a really long time, and then they requested me as a friend on Facebook, and like they just come. So just having these knowings or these feelings or um just knowing something's going to happen before it does, or just getting like kind of insight and having no logical backup for it, no
Hmm.
logical explanation as to why you're feeling or knowing or seeing these things that end up to be true.
Did that always happen to you? Like not
Yes.
before you got into your profession?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They used to happen all the time, and I used to think it was just, something that happened. It was normal, but it just happened a lot more often to me than I felt like I would hear my friends say or whatever. So I just felt like it just, and once you recognize it and you work with it, you start recognizing how much more often it happens. And,
Wow.
so that's why things just become, so clear and it's
Hmm.
like right there. So it's
So
really
so
cool
it's
once you
kind
start
of
working with it.
priming your gift, kind of. It's kind of
Yes.
once you got it, now you know you have it. Now you can make it work better for
Exactly.
you.
Because
Got
I
it.
never thought, yeah, I never thought these were gifts because they just came so naturally. So I was just like, this is just how I am. And then at one point I'm like, all right, I'm a freaking weirdo. Like, why does nobody else feel like
Oh
this?
yeah,
Or why
no.
does, so once I understood the gifts and I learned about them more and I began working with it, that's when I'm like, all right, this is cool. Like I understand it and I learned to control myself. And, so many people have such bad anxiety. I had awful, awful, awful anxiety.
Wow.
And like to the point sometimes I didn't want to leave my house. It was so bad. And I realized a lot of it was connected to spirit.
Mhm.
And, because when you don't know how to channel the energy, it just comes off as anxiety. It's like, think about like someone just like standing over you constantly. It's like, it's uncomfortable,
Yeah.
but when you don't see anybody and you feel that, it's like, what's wrong with me? Why am I so scared of everything? Or
Wow.
why am I so anxious about everything?
I
So once
understand.
you understand it, you can learn to keep them at an arm's reach.
Yeah, good explanation.
Yeah.
People need to understand that. Okay, so cool. So, um, take us into our journey today because we're going to be talking about that and among other things. So let me hand the floor off to you because I'm excited to see where you're going with this too.
All right, cool. So there are so many different ways that you can practice this. And like you asked me about kids before, and my daughter, I sat down with her one day and she was trying to do like a trick. She had like those she had like like three solo cups, like the red solo cups, and she had a ping pong ball. I don't know why I had all this in my house, but she had the ball under the cup, and she's like, she keeps mixing them up, and she goes, "All right, mommy, where's the ball?" And I just kept picking the right one. And she's like, how do you keep
Picked the
doing
wrong
this?
person to
And
play
I'm
with.
just
That's what
like,
happened with.
I know every time my husband's always like, "Mommy's not allowed to play these games."
Yeah.
so, so I picked the ball. I keep picking the ball, and she adds two more cups now, and she goes, "Turn around." She goes, so I turn around, and she's doing them. I'm finding the cups, right? And she goes, "How do you keep doing all of this?" She goes, and I said, "Well, Deanna," I said, "you just have to, you have to feel the energy." And she's like, and they're familiar with me. We go to crystal shops, we do stuff like this, and she's like, "Well, how do I do it?" I was like, well, you just kind of feel like where your eyes are being pulled or where you're being pulled to, and you could find it. So now I made her turn around, and I got three cups, and I put the balls under, and I'll show you the video one day. I have it somewhere.
Mhm.
And she was doing it, and she closed her eyes, and she puts her hands over the cups like this. I didn't tell her what to do. She just closed her eyes, she puts her hands over the cups, and she picked the right ball, and she started jumping up. She was so excited, and she did it like bang, 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 bang. Like she just kept getting it,
Oh,
and she was like, "Oh my God, this is so cool!" Like, it was just, it's really cool watching them work because they're just pure channels, and they can just put themselves right in that moment. It's so cool. We make it
that
so difficult for
that's
ourselves
so
as
cool.
adults. But there's so many cool ways to practice. Practice your gifts, and some people are still nervous to come out of that spiritual closet, or that to like let people know that they're they're experiencing this, and people perceive it as weird or different, or whatever.
Mhm.
And there's a million reasons why some people don't want to tell people, but they do want to practice. So there's so many ways you can get a deck of cards, and go through the cards and guess which card you're going to pick before you do it. I mean, that one's really hard. That one's hard for me. That's hard for a lot of people, but some people are like excellent. One of my students, Allison, she like one, two, three times in a row, like the 52 deck. I was like, how
You
do
still
you
guess the
do this?
cards?
Like, she's incredible, like
Wow,
suit and number. Like, some people get the suit, some people get the number, some people, but that's how enhance these gifts. But she's like some people are
that's
just so spot
incredible.
on with it. I'm in awe of her every time she does this exercise, because I'm like, I want to do that. And like sometimes you see online or like TikTok, they have all there's a few mediums on there that are wonderful. They have like all different practices, and things like that. And they'll say, all right, which card do you want to pick? And then that card just like speaks to you,
Oh,
or what crystal do you want to choose? And that card speaks to you. And then there's ways to just like kind of build from there. And those exercises could be some harder than others. But so right now, which one do I use? All right, I'm picking a stone for you.
oh,
All
cool.
right, so I have a stone in my hand right
Hmm.
now, okay? So I want you to really just like clear your head. The first color that comes to you,
Green.
you want, and that was the first one I was gonna pick,
Are you
but
serious?
then I changed it. But then I changed it to
Oh,
black.
okay.
But here's the green one, and I thought it
Okay.
was gonna be too. I thought it was gonna be too small for. I thought it was gonna be too small for you to see, so I took this one.
All
That's
right.
so funny. But those are the two stones I have.
Oh,
But see, so you could pick that, and if you have like three stones laying out on a table, and like someone. So let me see if I could. I wasn't planning on doing this one, but let's see, because I don't know if I could hold it. So I have this one, I have this little one, and then I have this one. So which stone are you drawn to out of all of them?
The middle one.
The middle one. All right, so this is the one that I was going to pick originally.
Uh-huh.
And so this is Amazonite. So I probably am saying that wrong for crystal lovers out there. I apologize, but they have such weird names. So no, this isn't Amazonite. I'm sorry. This is aventurine. The other one was
Venturing?
Amazonite.
Venturing?
Aventurine.
Adventuring.
hmm
Okay.
And and this one is a lot for prosperity. It has a lot to do with pulling in money and new ideas. I mean, the list goes on with all of these things, but when people like what I see a lot when I go to crystal shops, some crystal stores, like after you make a purchase, they let you stick your hand in like a little pouch and they let you pick a crystal, and you always pick the one that maybe is needed for you or needed for your energy that day. My kids come to crystal shops with me and they go through the stores and they're always like they're feeling the crystals and they're feeling the energy, and then I always let them pick a stone that they want, and they always pick a stone that just completely suits their personality.
Uh,
Like one night my daughter, she was having nightmares and she picked like a selenite stone, which is for stuff like that. It's a protection
it's a
stone,
protection one.
things
Okay.
like that. Yeah, and like they have like wands of them and stuff, and she picked this, and I was like, that's so perfect for her. And my son, he what did he pick one day? I forget what stone he picked, but it had it was like tiger's eye or something. I think it had everything to do with money, and he's like super hungry. So like he always has, he's cheap and he always saves his money, and he's always like, wants it. So
Hmm.
like that was like the perfect stone for him that day. So there like you always pick like you always pick a good stone for you.
That you need
And
at the
like what
time,
you're
right?
and what you're feeling like in that moment. So that's really cool when people can do that. So you always happen to have the stone. If I'm drawn to something and I'm like, I don't really think I need that one, it's I buy it anyway, or I hold on to it, and then it just shows me something that I'm learning about myself that week, or something maybe that I need to see. And I like playing around with stones. Do you need crystals in order to do this work? No. You don't need anything. You're born with all the tools that you need. You don't need cards, you don't need crystals, you don't need anything like that. Any kind of tools, but they're fun to use and they're fun to work with. Like some people will say like, oh, this full moon, or we just had the Lionsgate portal. This is a great
What's a
this is a
Lionsgate
great
portal? What's that?
well, that was just on the 8th, so it's August 8th every year, and it's kind of like it's a healing thing where you're supposed to it's supposed to be the biggest manifesting day of the year, and for the next few days after, I think for 4 days after, so we're still in that manifesting period. Um and what happens is it's just a really great time to manifest the things that you want, and
What
that the manifestations come true faster.
what about the things that you don't want? Can you
Well,
manifest bad things too?
you can.
You can. Just don't think about it,
Because
right?
yeah, like because if that's in your energy, if you're, manifesting, you want to manifest money, but you're lacking it and you're worried about it and you're harping on it and
Never
your
come
need
then,
for the
right?
yeah, exactly. And then if the need for the money is overcoming the want for it, then you're manifesting need. So
Yeah.
that's why a lot of people aren't winning the lottery or doing that, because your need for it is more is coming to the forefront. But what I like to, manifest so that it's like lasting and permanent for you, you want to manifest like an emotion. Like you might want to manifest inner peace or self-love, or like to feel all of that, because if you get the new house that you want, but you're not in gratitude where you can appreciate it, it's not going to make all those other demons go away, So, but if you're at a place of like, gratitude, love, acceptance for who you are, confidence, you're going to feel deserving of all of it. If you don't feel deserving of it, it's going to go away. You're not going to be able to sustain that. So, the Lionsgate portal, I feel like you can manifest any day. You don't need a special full moon or a portal or anything like that in order to manifest,
Mhm.
but it's the intention that you had behind it. And if your intention is really strong, the manifestation is going to be strong.
Okay.
So, astrologically, it the stars line up where it's a good manifesting day, and that's why they call it the Lionsgate portal.
Okay.
There is like science behind it, but for me, I feel like, if you just set an intention any day, it could be a Sunday, it could be a Friday, it could be any
Whatever.
day that
Yeah.
you feel there's meaning and you could feel that meaning behind the manifestation, that's the day that it's going to be the strongest for you.
Okay.
So I feel like you can manifest any day, but so it's the same thing, like, crystals, yeah, they work. If you work with their energy, you can enhance things, but you have to be in a place where you're working with it and you believe that it's going to work, and every intention, like, you believe like you have it already. So if you do that, then it's gonna work very well for you.
Okay.
um so
That's
yeah.
cool. That's cool. And what I have is this is I didn't know that we were doing this, but I just realized something. Uh, Let me see. I have and at the end of the show, oh, I got it. Okay. At the end of the show, I'm gonna ask Danielle, and if I understand correctly, I have a crystal in my hand,
Mhm.
and if I ask you what it is, if it's not what you say it is, that means you don't need it, right? Isn't that how it works?
Ex-
Like,
Explain
like,
that again.
okay, like you will only this crystal I have in my hand. You only tell me what it is. You only will get it right, or the color is if you need it today, right? If you need what it brings you today. Isn't that what you were saying before, or did I get it wrong?
No, not necessarily. Like, see, if I'm holding one stone in my hand,
Okay,
you're either tuning into it and you're right, or you're not. And it's
the
just
black one.
that's why it's a practice. Yeah. And but if I gave you like the three crystals to do, if you're drawn to one of them, generally it's going to be something that resonates with you, like the meaning that, like, it could be the crystal itself, it could be the meaning that the reader gives you, and how they interpret it for you. So that's what it is, like, it's like the meaning behind it for the person that's reading you, or for you if you're doing it by yourself and you like pick a card from an angel card deck, or you pick a crystal that really draws to you, then usually that resonates with your energy that day.
Oh,
It's
I
not that
see.
you need anything, but it's just that it resonates with you that day, or something that's going on in your life.
I see.
So yeah, these practices though are just so cool. Sometimes it's really just practicing for you. Like the ones I'm giving you, like where like I'm holding a crystal, what color is it? Those can be hard. Like I don't always get those, like these can be really hard exercises. Sometimes like I go online and if I'm bored, I'm like laying in bed sometimes and I go on some, like social media, whatever, you have all these people doing like these practices, and I do them, and I'm like looking at them and I'm like, sometimes I get a lot right. And then sometimes I'm like, oh damn it, and like, but it's just fun because you have to completely clear your head. And sometimes we get in our minds too sometimes.
Yeah, yeah,
We'll get in our heads where we're like, oh, you overthink it. And if you overthink it, then it's like you can't think. You just have to say what comes to you. But some practices that I do with my students, it's I had this one practice that I did. So I had a class of I don't know, probably like 20, 25 people, and I went to the dollar store, I bought these boxes, and I colored a color in the boxes, like red, orange, yellow, green, blue. Well, they're all different, and I wrote a word in each box.
inside.
And on
Okay,
top of the color, I wrote a word,
okay.
and I closed the box. And everybody at the beginning of class, everybody had to pick a box that
All the
was for
same
them.
on the outside, all the same.
Yeah, they all looked the same on the outside. They were like these red Christmas boxes because that's all
Okay,
the dollar store had. So
okay, I got
like
you.
I upgraded to jewelry boxes after a while, but
Okay.
these were my first ones. So, and everyone found a box they were drawn to, and they had to hold the box and they had to feel what color they felt like it was, and they had to feel the word. Now this word could be anything in the freaking world. It could be dog, like it could be anything in the world. um there were only I did this exercise probably 4 times with classes of anywhere from like 10 to 25 people, and there was twice where somebody got the word and the color.
No way.
And yeah, and I was very impressed. But what I have to say is, if someone picked a word, um and they would like, let's say the word love was in the box. Like they might feel like all these emotions, like the word that they got had to do with um and the description they gave me of the word would make sense. It would be like a definition of the word.
Okay.
You know,
Even if they
like
didn't get it directly, it would be talking kind
right.
of around.
Right. And they'll say like if the word was love in the box, like before they open it, they'll be like, oh, I see my kid, I feel peaceful, I feel this. So like
Same
the
thing.
word would
Same thing.
indirectly mean what they were pulling in. So everybody always got something, like if you get the color blue, like some people will say, oh, I see blue. Or some people will be like, oh, like, they would connect it to like communication, like I'm feeling kind of down in the dumps, or I'm feeling this, or I feel like I'm not communicating the way I should communicate, or, and like blue can mean so many different things to people, so they can give you a whole reading based off of the color that they see and the color blue, like the tone of the blue that they see, or, whatever. Like my nail color, like not today, but my nail color is generally like, I use all like different red tones. Like whenever I'm wearing whenever I have my nail polish on, I use
Uh-huh.
generally the same color every week. One week I changed my color, and my mentor was like, oh, you have different color nails this week. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, what's going on? Like he went like, because I was wearing like this grayish like purpley color or whatever, and it's something out of the norm. And he's like, what's wrong? And like he knew that something was wrong and that I was upset about something. Like, not that everybody who has purpley gray nails is
Right,
something
right.
wrong with, but he knew that for
He picked
me,
up on
he,
something.
he picked up on it. And if I have a different color, he'll be like, what news do you have for me? What happened? And I'm like, stop looking at my nails. Like, like he always knew,
Quit it.
when something when something was going on, because it was out of the norm for me. Like I kind of alternate between these two colors. And if I'm not getting one of those two colors, something's up. Like, there's always, so if someone goes out of their, thing, that you kind of just know. So,
Mhm.
but you could, anything could like, could catch your eye for a reading. That's why some people read with their eyes closed. And I always tell them, you could read however is comfortable for you. I know some great readers who always have their eyes closed when they read, but you could see so much more with your eyes open. Like something might like, catch your eye in, like, when you're singing or when you're talking to somebody. Like you always have your microphone upside down when we're talking, when we're on earth, and when we're doing a thing. But one day that might be the reason that something might catch my eye, and and I might be able to pull like a reading from the microphone being upside down because something clicked
Uh-huh.
that day. you
Okay.
know you always have that checkerboard thing behind you, and
Yeah.
it's always there. But like, if that drew into my attention one day, I would be laser focused. I wouldn't be able to take my mind off of it.
Mm.
Like I would just keep going there, and then you create a reading in the light switch, or something, the way you're sitting, like, it just, even though it might be the same every day, one day it just might stand out to
I
me.
see. I see.
So yeah.
And just for the audience, the mic is upside down like this because it's omnidirectional. So you got to speak into it this way. And then the red and the black in the back, those are the soundboards to bounce the sound back this way. I just want the audience to know that. I'm just teaching a little bit about the radio. And that's why it's like that. But for Danielle to notice that, then it's got to pick up. I know it was just an example, but something like that would
Right.
give
It would draw
you
someone's attention
right.
instead of just like us thinking you don't know how to decorate. Uh-huh.
Well,
Just kidding.
Danielle, I want to ask you. We've
Mhm.
got 2 minutes left here. I want to give you the last word here, but give me 10 seconds at the end because I want to ask you a question, which I'm gonna
Mhm.
tease the audience into next time. All right. So
Okay.
let me hear what you got going on, how we get a hold of you, and the last word that you want us to think about for this episode. Great one. This was fun.
All
This
right.
was a good one.
Oh, oh, awesome. So the last Thursday, I mean the first Thursday of every month, I have my psychic development class. online. It's a little spiritual development, a little psychic development, a little mediumship development. It's always different. It's always based off the needs of everybody. And you could always sign up for that on my website, DanielleAnatra.com. All my current events are always also on there. And I'm also going to be doing a group reading on Friday, September 2nd on Zoom with one of my mentors, Brad Frzensky. We're going to be, oh God, I think it's 7:30 to 9 Eastern time. All this time difference is really getting
It's on the website, right?
nuts. Yeah, it's on my website. So DanielleNatra.com. You can see all my upcoming events and book appointments and do whatever you want.
Okay, cool. And the one question that I have for you is, and we don't have to say anything, but I guess this must have to do with me, right? Because I don't know what it is, and I just stuck my hand down and I grabbed. I know I put a crystal in my bag about a week ago. I don't know what it is.
Okay.
Can you think of anything that I appear to be needing, or I just want to know, why do I have this
Yeah.
also in here? Can
Okay.
you tell me anything about it?
Yeah, I feel like I don't know if I'm gonna get the color right or not because I'm not feeling too confident about the color.
Okay.
But I keep seeing like almost like an orangey color, but the reason I feel like the crystal color itself is wrong is because I'm really connected to like the orange color chakra for you, like I'm the sacral chakra, and that has a lot to do with like our pleasures in life and things like that. So I do feel like you feel like you're missing something. I feel like you feel like there's a void somewhere and you're kind of searching for something outside of yourself. And I feel like that are like so that that chakra for you is like kind of like trying to fill a void, like trying to find that happiness that you're kind of looking for that's already inside of you. But I feel like there's boredom in a certain area of your life that and you're kind of like searching for something. So I don't know what the stone is, but I do feel like there are some components of it that will help you with that.
I was going to save this till next week.
Hmm.
I'm going to find out what kind of stone it is, but you
Hmm.
kept saying the stuff about orange.
Hmm. It's an orange stone. Oh, is
Yeah,
that
it's
citrine? That's citrine.
it's
And do you
orange.
know it's citrine? And if I'm seeing the stone correctly. And that stone is actually very good. I got one of my friends is a beautiful model actress, and I bought her a citrine necklace because it's really good for performing and speaking and like doing things like that. So that's really
Yeah,
perfect for your line of
this is
work.
orange. This Joe.
No, yeah, no,
This
that's
is
citrine stone.
completely orange. That is so weird. I gotta get off the air. You are good. Wow. This tell me this isn't orange. My
Yeah,
God.
but that stone is perfect for you
Yeah,
because I if it's visible and it is what I think it is, it's great for your line of work. It's really great for what you do.
that was so cool. Awesome. Guys, if that's not proof right there, Danielle Anatra, thank you so much. That was a
Thank
lot of
you
fun.
so
I
much.
can't
I'll see
believe
everyone
about
next
that.
week.
I will be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes. and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.